Welcome to a very special episode of the Ask a Cycling Coach podcast presented by TrainerRoad. This week, we are joined by the Commencal Enduro project, or Commencal Bikes, Alex Rudeau, the current EDR World Champion. And some of you listening to this might not know what EDR is. EDR is the Enduro World Champion. That's what we're talking about here with Alex. Enduro it used to be separate from the UCI. Now it's with the UCI, so they refer to it as EDR because the UCI really loves acronyms. So that's what they've stuck with. Alex just won recently in Val di Fassa in Italy, just won Enduro World Championships. It's a huge feat. And for people that don't understand the racing format, we've discussed it before on the podcast, but it's very similar to rally car racing, where you'll have multiple stages. And across those multiple stages, you'll have to complete them within a specific time window. And then you don't get to have like a team that's following you around to give you nutrition and to work on your bike. You have to be self-sufficient throughout the course of the day, and you have specific times where you might be able to stop in at a pit stop and get some assistance. But when you're out on the trail, it's all up to you. Typically, the courses tend to be very technical, steep, but also mixed in with pedaling. It's like a perfect balance of man and machine and fitness and skill that you have to have. And it's a really, really interesting sport. Really like a discipline of cycling that I think people would really love. Alex, one of our employees here, Cedric, he's a friend of yours. And Cedric mentioned the fact that he's like, hey, Alex uses TrainerRoad. He just won world championships. And I had no clue that you had used TrainerRoad. And I thought that was amazing because, of course, I've seen you and followed your racing for a really long time now. I want to talk about your training and the things that you've done to get to a world championship level. And I think that the best place to start, because how we introduce ourselves basically as cyclists to each other is through our power to weight ratio. So, Alex, what's your FTP and what is your weight? And you can give it in kilograms.
Okay, my weight is 68.
Awesome. So you're right around 150 pounds, just under. Okay.
Maybe. And FTP, I did it yesterday, my FTP. And it's 320. Nice.
320. Wow, that is really, really, really fit. So for giving people context, that's 4.7 watts per kilogram. That's really, really high. And typically, that's the sort of level that you see, and you are not a cross-country Olympic racer or a road racer, and typically, that's the level that you see when you're talking about national champion level for the elite, or for the non-pros. 4.7 is like national champion level. And there are a lot of pros that actually are at around that same power to weight ratio. That's crazy. How much time do you put into training on the bike with such a varied, like the demands of enduro? You have to be technically good. You have to be strong. You have to have endurance. You have to have sprint speed and the ability to repeat a sprint effort. There's just a lot going on with all the things that you have to do. So how much time do you spend on the bike in training in a typical week?
In a typical week, like 10 hours on the bike only for specific training, like pedaling and intervals. And next to that, I have also bike park session, some shuttle to work specifically on a technical side. So yeah.
So you're also spending time then. So you're going almost spending 10 hours going up, so to speak, working on the pedaling
Not
portion.
Not only up, but 10 hours of pedaling mostly.
And then the down portion and bike parks and descending, how much time do you spend doing that in a week?
It depends of the week, but it's 1 or 2 sessions per week. So between 4 and 7 hours.
How tiring is a session like that? Because somebody listening to this is probably just thinking that's really fun. It's just like, and I'm sure it is fun, but is it hard work, the descending part?
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that you can't measure super good. So yeah, it's really demanding for the body. It's For me, one day of shuttle or bike park, like full focus working on my skills, it's like 5 hours on the road bike, and it's super
Wow.
demanding. Yeah.
Wow. How much time do you spend? So your background is trial. I think your background, or maybe this is just skills you've developed, but you're a very good trials rider. And for those that don't know what trials are, it's basically like gymnastics on a bike. It's like you have incredible trials abilities. Do you still put in time working on technical skills like that? Or do you have such a strong base you don't have to?
Yeah, I did 16 years of bike trial. So yeah, I still have a good capacity and good skills from this. So I'm not working a lot on this kind of skills. I just did it for fun and to have some good videos. So yeah, just for this, but not it's not a work that I'm doing especially for this. I prefer to
Got
work
it.
as the points where I am not the best, like downhill, bike park, something like this. Yeah, because from bike trial you don't have speed, you don't know this kind of skills. So yeah,
Yeah.
I prefer
How
to write this kind of trade for specific technical training.
That makes sense. It's like direct application
Yeah.
for you for what you're doing. How much time do you spend strength training or any form of off the bike training during a week?
Like 2 or 3 sessions per week, from 1 hour 30 to 2 hours. So yeah, between 3 and 6 hours of the bike.
And then what are you doing in those sessions? Is it strength training, running, yoga?
Mostly strength training. I don't like so much to run, so yeah, I prefer to do this kind of effort on the bike. And I also practice moto trial now. So yeah,
Oh, fun.
this is a mix between fun and training, because the moto is heavy. So yeah, you need to have good arms, good abs. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
good
I bet.
training.
So altogether, like looking at this, yeah, I mean, you could be putting in on some weeks, you could be close to 20 hours a week of training that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Average,
that,
it's 15, 18 hours per week. And in a big week, it's 25 or 28 hours.
wow. What sort of interval training do you feel? So I understand that you likely spend a good amount of your time building up base fitness. Like your off season is probably going to be coming to a close soon after winning world championships. And then you're going to be doing a lot of base training. I really want to ask you though, what sort of interval workouts on the bike do you feel prepare you best for enduro racing?
It's a mix. You need everything for enduro. So yeah, you don't have only one who is the best for enduro. You need sprint power. You need lactic. You need everything. So I don't have. Yeah, I can't tell you
Yeah.
one who is the best. But like 30-30 is one of the most most useful training, maybe.
Yeah. And that's when you're sprinting out of corners and repeatedly having to sprint in between technical sections. That's like the 30-30s out there on course.
Even shorter. Yes.
15s.
Yeah, like 5 seconds sometimes, only
Wow.
to recover speed after a corner or something like this. You just have to pedal to torque, and that's it.
And that 5 seconds is as hard as you can pedal for that 5 seconds. So it's like sprint repeats more than anything that you're doing there.
Yeah, during a stage, it's more sprint repeats. And sometimes you have some pedaling parts who are longer, like 15 seconds, 30, or 1 minute for the longer one. So yeah.
How about in Enduro, they call these the transfers between the stages or liaisons. You aren't timed, like that time doesn't go into your final race time. You're just timed on the actual stages. But you still have to get to the start within a certain time window. Do you find that you have to train for that, or is you already have enough fitness that it's not demanding to get to the stage start on time, so you don't have to worry about that easy pedaling?
You have to train for that, especially I think for the next years and next races, because they put the time even more tight every time. So yeah, it's at the first EDR World Cup this season, we had super tight timing between stages. So yeah, you have to be prepared for this, and even more if you want to be like super performant in stage, you have to be fit, to be easy in the transfer liaison, and to be at 100% during the stage. So yeah, it's super important to have a big base and have also the specific skills to be at 100% into the stage.
Yeah, it's a complicated discipline because you have to do both sides of the coin for everything. It seems like, what sort of power typically do you have to put out in those transfer stages? Is it like zone 2 power, or do you have to go above that?
Normally, zone 2 it's good, but sometimes it's so tight, so you need to go to zone 3 or zone 4.
Wow.
On a race like Combloux in France, EDR World Cup, from top of stage 2 to bottom of stage 3, so with the transfer between the two stages, I was at 180 heart rate for all the average between all the stage, and from the top of stage 2 to the bottom of stage 3.
So and how long are those stages roughly, to give people?
Stages were like 3 minutes 30, 4 minutes. And the liaison between was maybe 25 or 30 minutes.
Whoa. So that's like...
So I spent like 45 minutes at 180 average.
And what's your max heart rate?
200.
Whoa. That's like that's basically a threshold effort if you were to pace it evenly, but even more complicated, you did not pace it evenly. You're having to sprint during the stage and then carry out a threshold effort in between and then sprint some more. Whoa. What's your max power, to give people context?
I think it's been a long time that I did it, but it's something like 1,350, something like this.
So that's high power output too. And the crazy part is you do all this on flats.
Yeah.
You aren't clipped in.
Yeah. with flat pedal. Every test that I'm doing is with the flat pedal.
So that's flat pedals on the trainer even.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
I do this because for me it's important to have the same pedaling efficiency and the same effort on my test than on my training than on the race. So if I'm doing test with the clip pedal, it will not be the same than on the race. So yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. That's crazy to think of sprinting 1,300 watts without being clipped in. That's like that's super impressive. Can we, I guess, talk a little bit about the nutrition that you carry out? Like how, because this is really difficult. You don't have on your bikes, you don't have a space for a lot of bottles and that sort of thing. But a full day, in some cases, some enduro, like a full race day, is very long. How long are they usually, and what are some of the longest ones you've done?
It's around 5 hours on, not only on the bike. It's from the start of the race to the end of the race. It's 5 hours, and you can normally you can go back to the pit one time per race.
Wow.
So you have to.
So how do you?
You have to carry all the water and all the food for sometimes 2 or 3 hours. So yeah.
And you only have room for one bottle on your bike, right?
I have only one bottle, yeah.
So, and it's not a big, super tall 1 liter bottle.
I have a 800 millimeter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So an 800, and that's typically enough to get a person through like 1 hour of drinking, and you have to spread it out because you don't carry a hydration pack or water or anything else.
I have also a flask, something like for runner, I have this in my pocket when there is a long pedaling and without water station. Because sometimes we have water station sometimes, so yeah, you have to adapt.
Okay, yeah. Geez, so it changes constantly. How do you take in carbohydrates and salt when you're riding? Is it mixed into your drink, or do you take it through gels or something else?
No, I put it in my drink, in my bottle on the bike, and the other one on my back is only water. So, and after I just eat some bar, some not so much gel. I don't like it, but
Yeah.
Bar.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know how many carbs per hour you would take in typically in a race? Or I don't know if you've calculated that.
I don't have it.
Man, Alex, after this, we're gonna get you on 120 grams of carbs per hour, and you're gonna be smoking the field even more. It's gonna be incredible. So, do you take in caffeine
No.
during these races?
No
caffeine. Wow. Do you take in anything else on the nutrition side?
When we go back to the pit, I eat something like a meal, some rice, with chicken, or when it's cold weather, kind of soup. Yeah, it's good. But
that's crazy. So I want to looking back at, actually one other question. How much time do you spend during a typical week product testing or testing different suspension settings or tire pressure, for example? Is that common for you, or is that, at the beginning of the year and then maybe once you get to race season, but otherwise no?
We did a lot of testing with Commencal Enduro project. It's the base of Enduro project. It's the project to build to concept a new bike who will be performant in the race and to sell it after for the consumer. So we started in 2022, first year of the Commencal Enduro project, and I spent like many hours of testing this year, and 2023 was less because the bike was already good, and this year in 2024 I did only small adjustment on suspension, and we didn't change too much this year. The bike was super good after 2023, so But when we are testing, it's like a week of test usually. So yeah, I can't tell you per week it's 2 hours of testing or something like this. It's more like period of testing, and yeah.
Sure. That makes sense.
But we spent a lot of days. I don't know if I can count in hours since the beginning, but yeah, it's a lot.
With your bike, you're riding a Commencal. Which model do you ride? How much suspension travel do you have in the front and the rear? And is there anything other than flat pedals? Is there something unique that you do with your bike setup that maybe is interesting or different than what is normal?
Yeah, I am riding the Meta V5, so the Enduro model of Commencal. This is the bike that I developed with them for the Enduro race. I can't tell you all what you ask me. Travel and something like this.
Sounds good.
We are always developing the bike and changing some stuff about kinematic or suspension. So yeah, the bike is actually on the market, and it's a bike. It's the bike that I rode at the end of 2022. So a bike super good developed. I won my first EDR with this bike, and
Cool.
after that we did also a small change. Yeah, I can't tell everything because we did change that we changed after. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And if I have some specific stuff, yeah, for sure. Even between my teammate and me, we have different setting, different adjustment because of my skills, my flat pedal also skills. So yeah, I need to adjust it. I am super sensitive about the shock that I have on my feet. So my bike is super precise, absorbing all the small shock, and yeah, even for pedaling, because this is the hardest part of flat pedal, to pedal into some routes section, like flat routes. When you are pedaling with into the routes, the feet go off the bike. So yeah, it's just horrible. So I'm working a lot on this to have the perfect bike who stay on the ground, and yeah.
So it's not just choosing to run flat pedals, but then that changes how you set up your bike, and you're always chasing to find the right setup based on how prone your feet are to flying off the pedals.
Exactly.
So
some people ask me into some rock spots in the stage if I was not losing the feet or something like this, but when I am going down, it's not the worst. It's okay because I know that I can push on my feet, and yeah, it's okay. But when I am pedaling, you have one foot with lighter than the other one, and if you have a shock at this moment, you go out. So yeah, it goes out. So yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be tricky. I want to ask like 2 more questions. Number 1, looking at your results from 2021 to 2022, it looks like your results, you started to have higher placing results. And like you went from an average, and then the average increased substantially when you went in terms of your results for the year. They increased substantially when you went to 2022. And then from 2022 to 2023, it wasn't just that you got like some good results, but your average was very, very much increased. In other words, it seems like from the outside in, 2021 to 2022, you found speed, like more speed. And 2022 to 2023, you found consistency. Just looking at the results. I have no clue if that really tells the story. But can you think, did anything change in 2021 to 2022 to increase your speed? And then in 2023 to increase your consistency, can you think of anything?
Yeah, for sure. 2021 was my first year of pro athletes. So it was the beginning of training every day and live like a pro athlete. So do a bit of testing, not so much in 2021. And 2022, it's the year that we created the Commensal Enduro project with an engineer of Commensal, and we start to work a lot on the bike that I told you. And if you are looking at 2022, I start super far in the result. My first World Cup, I finished 35 or something like this. So yeah, it was not the result that I wanted. And I finished with a win, with my first podium and a win on the World Cup. So it was, super ascending performance. And this is also due to the works that we done on the bike, because at the beginning of the year we received the prototype of the Meta V5 2 weeks before the first World Cup.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was super short to be used to the bike, and to have the good setting. So we did the 2 first races like this. It was super hard mentally to stay okay, it's the work, you have to deal with it. And after the second races, we did some change. I arrived in Canazei for the third race, and I finished 7th. So it was a big improvement. So I was happy with that. And then I finished top 10, top 5, and the win at the end of the year. So yeah, it's mostly the work on the bike who helped me, and also all the work that I did, and maybe the training that I did before will begin to be efficient. So this is from 2021 to 2022. And for the consistency, I think we begin with a good bike at the beginning of 2023, sorry. And I felt super good. But I also did a bad result at the beginning of 2023. It was too early in Tasmania.
Yep.
So after Tasmania, I did 5 podium on 5 races. So it was crazy.
Super impressive.
Yeah. And I think it's a mix between the bike was perfect. My fitness was good also. So yeah, it's kind of balance that. And it was also my 3rd year as a pro athlete. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I think that you're one of the few athletes to, like, in that 2023 year, to finish on the podium across the board. That's really rare. And then this year, you had another year that it was like you had higher highs, but then you were still within that top 10 range for most of the season. And then you win world championships. What does it feel like to be a world champion, to actually have like a UCI rainbow jersey? What does it feel like?
This is crazy. We were waiting it for so long, and it was this year, and I won it. So it's something even more special to be the first ever to win it. And I was really looking for the world championship, and I also do some big change just for this race. So I was like, okay, if you don't try, you will never know. I say okay, I will go full gas on this way, and we will see. And it seems.
So what was the change? You said you made a big change. Was it just being extra aggressive, like you're talking about, or?
It's something that you will like, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I was trained by a coach since 2022. So I did 2022 with him, 2023 with him, and beginning of 2024 with him until July. Until July, I was with him in 2024, and I was a bit boring about the training and everything, and it was something like a routine. You know, daily. You are in your stuff and you are not pushing anymore. And I spoke with Cedric, who work with you, and
With TrainerRoad. That's amazing.
He told me, if you want, you can try TrainerRoad and everything. I was like, why not? So I subscribed to TrainerRoad and just to see how it works. Cedric helped me a lot on this side. And next to this, I met also a physical coach who is super
Awesome.
good repetition, and he's one of the best in football player. He also trained one guy in NBA and some pro cyclist on road bike. So yeah, and he's living just next to my parents' home. So I met him.
Cool.
We start to speak, and he was like, me, I really want to help you and everything. I was like, okay, why not? We have to try. I have 6 weeks in front of me till the World Championship, so why not to try, and we will see. As I told you, I was like, I don't have anything to lose. I just want to win this race. So yeah,
That's amazing.
I changed all my training like 2 months before the big goal.
Wow. That's amazing. You probably had so much base, so to speak, across your skills, strength, and fitness that you could then, this really allowed you to focus it and specialize your training to really get the most out of it.
Yeah, and I think the most important in these changes was not to change, but for the mental,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, even more motivated at training and everything. And so, yeah, it's just a mental change, I think, more than training, because in 2 months you can change yourself, your body, and your fitness like this. So yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible, and you made it happen. You won. Yeah. That's so cool. Alex, thank you so much for jumping on and also doing a podcast, like not in your first language. For those that are listening to this, that's so hard to do, and
thanks to
I'm
you.
Really appreciative.
You will understand everything.
Oh yeah, I think they will. Yeah, you did great with it. This is awesome. I'm going to link to Alex's Instagram down below, and then also to his team's Instagram, so then you can follow both of them. And then you can follow Alex and support Alex and follow EDR.
You are not obligated to put the team link because the team is done for next year.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Really? Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope that a team has invested in you or is investing in you, because clearly there's a lot of opportunity.
I hope also. Yeah. I'm actually full free, so yeah.
All right. Yeah, well, we need to make that happen. Well, that's Alex is incredible. I'll link down to Alex's Instagram so then you can follow him along. Follow EDR. These athletes are incredible. They're like balancing every possible skill you can have on a bike and in racing, and it's really fun to watch. Yeah, thanks so much, Alex. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks to you. Bye.